Okay, so we are going to study affirmative and negative adverbs in French. Les adverbes affirmatifs et négatifs. So the first question that might pop into your head is, I don't know what an adverb is in English, so how will I know what it is in French? So the easiest way to answer that is that if you figure out what it is in English, then it will be very easy for you to identify them in French. So one of the most basic examples, and maybe you can remember this, would be I run quickly. So my verb is to run, and what's describing that verb quickly would be my adverb. I always run. So that always is describing the running. So that's what we're going to be learning in French today. So we have a couple of verbs that express how often we do things. And these verbs are toujours, souvent, and parfois. And they, toujours, roughly translates to always. Souvent would be sometimes or often, and parfois would be sometimes. And the opposite of these three ones would be ne plus verb plus jamais. So let's say, for example, that Henry travels always by plane. We would say Henri voyage toujours en avion. So notice how my adverb follows my verb. It does not precede, but it follows it. Now, if I wanted to say the opposite, Henry never travels by plane, then I would have my ne and jamais with the verb, like Henri ne voyage jamais en avion. So the ne jamais would be on the sides of the verb. And notice how we also don't have a pas. This jamais kind of takes the place of what we usually put, which is pas. So let's look at this other example. Henri visite souvent la France. So I have my verb, often. Henri ne visite jamais la France. Again, the ne jamais would be my opposite of souvent. I also have a couple of other adverbs that kind of follow this pattern, and they are encore and ne plus. So if someone said, if someone saw his or her ex-boyfriend or ex-girlfriend, they would say, oh, I still love you. Oh, je t'aime encore. But if they wanted to say, I don't love you anymore, well, you would say, je ne t'aime plus. So notice how the encore is after the verb, and here we still have the verb, but it's surrounded by the ne plus. We also have déjà and ne pas encore. So déjà can have two meanings. It can mean already or ever. So if the meaning is already and we want to use the negative one as in not yet, it would be ne pas encore. Let's look at some examples. So mes valises sont déjà là. Are my luggages, are my suitcases already there? Mes valises ne sont pas encore là. Are they not there already? So notice again my position of déjà, which comes after the verb. And then here I would have the ne, the verb, and then pas encore. So the first one would mean already, the second one not yet. And déjà also means ever. And the opposite of that would be obviously never. And that would be the ne followed by the verb, followed by jamais. For example, est-ce que tu es déjà allé en France? So, have you been to France ever? Right? And here I have the déjà before. Actually, before my past participle, but in between my être, which is here, right, and my past participle. Non, je ne suis jamais allée en France. So no, I have never been to France. So I have here my ne, followed by my être, followed by jamais, and then I would put my past participle. So the positioning for these adverbs with passé composé gets a little bit tricky because we have two verbs. Every time we have passé composé, we're either going to have être or avoir. And so the rule of thumb would be putting it in between your auxiliary verb and your past participle. So let's look at this example. Henri a toujours pris l'avion. He always got in the plane. He always got the plane. So I have this verb, prendre, takes avoir, correct? And so I would have my subject followed by avoir, followed by my adverb, then my past participle. And that's how we would place them. If it's not in passé composé, then you would always have the adverb following your verb. So try and learn these adverbs. Make a list. What are the positive ones? What are the negative ones? So if I were to have, for example, here, toujours, what would I have here as its opposite? If I were to have here encore, what would be the opposite of encore? Okay, merci beaucoup.